So good evening students. So as we are having the presentation on 4G 5G communication networks, let me take the topic from the fifth unit, that is security in 5G networks. Today security is playing a major role in any kind of network. So in most of the things the security is considered as a very important factor. So if you take an example, our mobile phone, so everyone is having password for every single app. Nowadays most of the people are putting password. So that which means that the security purpose is very important. They are preferring more number of security. So today very important thing is very number of hackers are um, threatening or using our mobile phone for them, so for hacking. So in order to avoid that, I am going to explain the features in the 5G network regarding the security, how far the security has been established in the 5G networks. The 5G uses licensed spectrum which prevents the hackers from the stopping into the network and getting access to the sensitive data that gets exchanged over the network. So network segmentation, another thing is the network segmentation. It can be achieved through the network slicing. So we have seen what is meant by network slicing and what are the factors that made the network slicing, the segmentation, in the last slide. So if you have any doubt in that, you better go to the last slide and try to understand the explanation. So again we can recall the network slicing here under the network segmentation, which ensures that the data exchanged by one customer or service does not get shared with another customer or services riding on the network. Then the home control. So the many of the projects has been done under the topic the home automation, that is the home control, controlling everything over the mobile phone itself. So like that the 5G supports the home control features for preventing network spoofing attacks. Home control features authenticates the devices locating in roaming service. So the main thing is authentication. The mobile phone, the data network is authenticate for the security features. It provides a native support for extensible authentication protocol EAP, which allows the new authentication methods to be plugged into the network by the service provider. Then SEAF, that is security anchor function in 5G, it allows authentication of the device when the device moves between the different access networks without having to run the full authentication process. The network supports mutual authentication between the user and the user equipment and the network itself. So both are having different blocks. Each of them can be protected from the hackers. The 5G supports a subscriber identity privacy. In 3G and 4G network, the MSI, that is International Mobile Subscriber Identifier, is shared with the network during the connection establishment process. But in the 5G network, globally unique subscriber permanent identifier is allocated for each subscriber. How the threats can be reduced, that is mitigating the threats in 5G. So protecting the MEC multi-edge infrastructure, computing infrastructure, then protecting the core network, protecting the virtualized infrastructure, protecting the CPU and small cell devices. So the first one is protecting the MEC infrastructure. So one of the vulnerable entity of 5G network, the protection can be done by deploying endpoint protection software in the MEC host. MEC applications and services can be protected and secured by configuring role-based access control admissions. As MEC open to serve, third parties were running their own custom machines. It is better to deploy firewalls for DDoS, operating system protection, malware function, and the API protection. Then next one is protecting the core network. Microsegmentation is one of the emerging trends. Then controlling the communication between different component, virtual machine, OS, and application levels. So the data exchange over the network can be protected by the encrypting data using traditional methods such as IPsec and VPN. Protecting the virtualized infrastructure. 5G brings an additional complexity to the operations team. Deploying, managing, and securing the network infrastructure, such as several 5G components are deployed in a virtualized infrastructure. Protecting the CPE and the small set devices. CPE means customer premises equipment, and small cells are deployed. They are very sensitive and closer to the user or the user premises. In such a case, encryption of sensitive data stored is in non-secure physical locations is a must. When vulnerable software packages are detected, the security teams must be alerted, and the software must be rolled back to the trusted version. So these are the few things that can be used for reduction of the threats in the 5G. It's an important question as far as the 5 units are considered. So I have put 5 topics for the understanding purposes. Still, we can have the presentation in future for the various subjects. Thank you.